Hey, welcome to another episode from the Watch Advocate. Boy, today I have a fun one for you. So sit back, relax, grab a drink from your favorite whiskey, grab a bottle of wine, a glass of wine, or just, your favorite water. You can't go wrong with a little bit of agua in your life. So, today is going to be interesting. Today I'm going to broach a hot topic of homage watches. And I guess I will almost call homage watches near knockoffs in some ways, in my experience with them, and why they are fantastic and also why they are terrible all at the same time. So anyway, hey, if you like watch content, please like and definitely subscribe. We would love you to help out the channel in that way. Feel free to check out the website below, TheWatchAdvocate.com. It's filled with some of my favorite watches on there. They are affiliate linked. I need to let you know that. So if you buy anything after clicking one of those, yeah, it will help out the channel, and that is very much appreciated. So let's hop right into homage watches. What is a homage watch? Basically, it is a copy. It is a near direct copy with something different so they don't get in any copyright issues or trademark fights. So many brands are doing these days. It's just kind of wild. And ironically, even some of the larger brands are making homage watches to other brands and or their old or just their own history, which is not really bad. I have nothing against that. But there are entirely dedicated watch companies that are basically there to quote unquote knock off major brand names and major brands and major watches. And they do it very, very well, and they do it at a massive fraction of the cost. And I'm still a little torn on how I feel about it. Some even say Tudor does this to Rolex, even though they're quote unquote sister companies, or Tudor's the little brother to Rolex, and they kind of knock each other off a little bit in some of their designs. And in some cases, Tudor's had Rolex parts back in the day, Rolex crowns all the time. There's nothing, it's no hidden surprise about that. It's pretty cool, honestly. I mean, Tudor was made by the owner of Rolex literally to be the tool watch section for the affordable guy, and they still are to this day. I don't quite think of Tudor as making homages to Rolex, even though I guess maybe they have in some ways. But there's more along the lines of brands nowadays in 2022 that are straight up copying Rolex, copying Omega, copying Tudors, Breitlings. I mean, everything. And let's just say you can get them on Alibaba or you can get them on Amazon, and they are being resold, and they are legal watches. They are homage watches. They are not direct copies. They're not pretending to be a direct copy or a fraudulent fake. But they are very, very similar. Everybody knows what they're trying to copy. And I bought one before. Before I got my Omega Seamaster, I bought a copy or a homage watch of a Omega Seamaster, completely legal. I had some extra dollars on Amazon gift cards, and I ended up picking it up on sale for like $80. I won't give the brand name, but they did honestly an excellent job as a homage. It looks very, very similar. It wears very, very well. And for me, I picked it up one because I wanted to scratch the itch at the time. I didn't want to spend the money on the Omega. And I also didn't want to not know how it felt. I wasn't quite sure I would really like a full-on flashy white dial. So I hadn't gone in and checked one out from a boutique at the time. So I wasn't sure, and I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna order this online for $80, and if it seems to wear well, I'm gonna live with it. And so I did. Was it a good decision? It came in. The build quality is not there. It was nothing like an Omega or Omega, however you want to pronounce it. It really wasn't. I mean, obviously, it was an $80 watch. How could it ever compare? But the look of it was very, very similar, and I truly enjoyed it. I thought, man, I couldn't take it off. I absolutely loved it. I thought this was the most cool thing ever. Is it a homage and a knockoff? Completely. And everybody that looked at it, because it's pretty flashy, were like, man, that's an awesome looking watch. And, and my first reaction was, great, thank you. This is my favorite knockoff watch. I could almost not say it. Like, I felt nearly guilty because it was such an inexpensive knockoff, and it didn't have Omega on the dial, which was really disappointing. And I felt the need to say that, honestly, and that kind of hurt me. I was like, man, I'm actually not proud of this, and now I'm kind of honestly ashamed of it. I should have been a little more proud, just thinking, hey, you don't need to have the brand name just because it looks like that sort of watch. Nobody cares about watches. If anybody actually notices, it's because they're like, wow, hey, that looks really good. Nobody knows brand names. I could have told them the brand name, and they probably would have thought it was actually fancy. It's just the people who are actually asking, and that's just unfortunate. That my first reaction was, "Oh, thanks, great. This is my Omega Homage." It's not what I said. I said, "Hey, this is my knockoff watch. It cost me $80." At the time, that was great. But it really made me feel pretty rough on the inside, and I felt honestly guilty for buying it. But what did it do? What it did for me was let me know how much I actually really enjoyed that style. Not only that style, it solidified me wanting the Omega Seamaster even more and the white dial, knowing that was the look and the feel that I really enjoyed. So taking that, I would say that is a big positive. Did I essentially lose $80? Maybe, because I haven't worn it since picking up the Omega. So yes, I did lose money in that sense, but I would have probably never bought the Seamaster unless I'd gone and tried it on, which I would have eventually. It takes time. I know I was just sad at the time, just not to go to the jeweler and check it out, to go to your Omega dealer. But your AD, I should say. But it is what it is. $80, honestly, in some cases, probably with gas money these days. If it were, okay, it wasn't in these days, but if it was in this day and time, maybe that would have been the cost of gas to go try it on. If that says where I live, yeah, that probably does. But anyway, I digress a little bit. I think it was actually really good for me to be able to see it, to feel it, to know what it might look like, and if it was wrong and I hated it, I wasn't out an Omega Seamaster. I was out $80 from a Homage watch that I picked up off of Amazon. So think of it like that. It can be a great positive. And let's face it, if you pick up the homage of something that you're never going to be able to afford, and you know it, or maybe not even afford, just that you would never spend that type of money on in real life to have the real thing, then don't feel great about picking up a homage and just wear it proudly. If you like the look of it, you like the look of it. If the brand name is what sells it for you, then guess what? You got suckered, man. You got marketed because you bought the brand name and not the watch. And that's kind of what it really does come down to. Are you buying it because you want the brand recognition? You want people to know what you have? Or are you buying it because you really just love the look and the feel? And I will admit, most Homage watches are not nearly as good as the originals that they're copying. And that just, it is what it is. They're not going to be close in quality for the most part. They're not even going to be even close in the same movements. But that's not really a terrible thing, I guess, if you're just there for the look, or if you're just there to kind of to really try it out long term, without investing all the money into it. I don't see that as really that big of a deal. For me, I really did enjoy that. So I'd say keep that in mind. Keep that thought process in mind as you're looking into a Homage watch, and don't let it scare you away. I think some of them are great. Some are even really good value for money. They actually do have good movements in them. They do have, they're just pretty fantastic all around. So, yeah, I guess this isn't really that long of a podcast today. Just wanted to talk a little bit about my experience with them. I'd say overall, I do feel positive and negative about it. Would I have done it again? Probably, because it helped me know that I actually really enjoy that style of watch. Would I spend $300 to $500 on a Homage watch before getting the real thing? Probably not. Probably not. That's where I would draw the line, probably at like $100. $100 to test it. that's great. That's not like the end of the world. And if I don't like it, maybe I can flip it for 50. Probably not. You're probably stuck with that watch. Let's just face it. You really probably are. And that's not the end of the world either. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I think they are cool. I'm not against them. They are not knockoffs. They are not illegal. They're real homage watches out there. I would not buy a knockoff. A true knockoff, I think, is if they are illegal, they usually are supporting criminal activity. Completely against that in every way, shape, and form. And plus, you really are just wearing you are just I don't know. I think that just knocks you down a level in humanity if you're truly wearing a knockoff and and you're trying to actually pull it off as the real thing. Don't do that. Don't be that person. That's just kind of pathetic. If you're doing a homage watch, great. Let people know it's a homage. Do you need to do what I did and say, hey, this is my Chinese knockoff and I absolutely love it? No, you don't. Just give them the brand name. Nobody knows this stuff anyway. Unless they're an actual watch collector. And if they are and they want to give you any gripe for it, just be like, hey, I'm trying it out. Seeing if I really do like this before I invest in the real money. And I think someone will respect that. If they don't, then, screw them anyway. That's just okay. That's what I think about it. So there you go. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I had a blast. Go out, get a homage if you want to. Don't feel bad about it. They really are pretty cool. And I will catch you on the next one. Like, subscribe before you go. Much appreciated. Definitely subscribe and tell your friends. If they like watches, point them this way. And we'll have a good time and have a nice fireside chat every weekend. All right, I'll catch you on the next one.